My full name is Catharine Riley. I was born in Terrace Bay Hospital, May 24th, 1952. My grandma on my dad's side was French-Canadian, so she was born in Canada, but his dad was born in Scotland, so my grandfather would be born in Scotland. On my mother's side, both my grandparents were born in Finland. We got married on April 11th, 1970. My spouse's name is Daniel Riley, and we met at Filene's restaurant. I was waitressing, and he frequented there. That's how we met. He left a cigarette package on the table, and I actually saved it. I still have it. I have two children. Darren is 43, and my daughter Ashley just turned 40 this year. I have 5 grandchildren. Darren has 3 children. Vanessa, who will be 16 in September. Shay just turned 13 in April, and I have a little grandson, Kai, who just turned 3 in May this month. And Ashley has 2 children, Kirsten, who is 9, and Ashton, who is 8. Yes, I did. I've been a consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics since 1979, so that would make it 35 years this October. I do retail. I also teach basic skincare, and I sell glamour. I do weddings. I do makeup consultations, skincare consultations. I've been in the Queen's Court of Sales 5 times, which is you have to achieve a certain amount of sales, and I have received, from the company, I've received 5 diamond rings for those achievements. Yeah, actually, that's how I got into Mary Kay. I went back to school because I knew that I was going to be needing something to do, and I had been in the arts program, so I went back and I took business subjects so that I could run my business. The volunteer work that I've done, when the kids were growing up, I volunteered. Of course, Darren was in hockey, so I volunteered. I was a hockey mom, and Ashley was in figure skating, so I volunteered there. I volunteer for the CWL. I've been on the library, the Historical Society. I also volunteer at quilting. We have a fundraiser in October, a basket draw, and the bulk of my volunteering is for Superior Classics Car Club. We do drag races every year. This is our 15th year. And we also had a car club in Schreiber back in the 80s. And there was 2 clubs, and also we belonged to a club in Thunder Bay in the 80s. I think one of my favorite memories is climbing up to the top of the hill at the end of Columbia Street and looking over the whole town. And I still do that now, but actually now I do it on the other side of town. The hill's a little easier for me to climb over there now. And so I think that's fun. That was fun to do. And it's just peaceful looking up there and seeing your whole little town and figuring out everybody's houses where they live. For fun as a child, there was lots of things that we did. Where the ball field is now used to be our playing area, and there was trees there. And we played hide and seek in those trees. And in the ball field itself down below, we played kick the can. We were always outside. In the winter, we were sliding and skating outside. We also did skate in the arena later when I got a little bit older, and there was a rink over on the north side of town. We were allowed to go to the arena and skate. And we were outside a lot. We played outside a lot. Even in the winter, when I was thinking about this question, I was thinking we never wanted to go in, and we would actually wrap our feet with newspapers and plastic bags. Newspapers to keep them warm, plastic bags so no extra snow would get in. And we'd go to Govins' Hill and slide all day and come home. Like as soon as it started to get dark, we'd have to be home by supper, right? So a lot of our activities were always outside. There was always church picnics that we went to, which were a lot of fun because all your friends would be there. Yeah, at the ball field, we used to walk around. There was a fence around the whole ball field, and we used to see who could walk around the whole fence without falling. And inevitably, one of us would fall. And it wouldn't really be fun. I think things have changed quite a bit now with all the technology. I know I don't see the kids out playing like I used to, although my grandchildren, when I am looking after them, I make them play outside. They're allowed to use their iPods, but they can't play on them all day. And they don't watch a lot of television. We watch a movie together, but they don't sit there and watch TV all day, which I think a lot of kids do. So, and I think, and I would like to think it's still as safe as it was when I was a little kid, but I really don't think it is, because I really don't know the people now. We have a lot of people that move in and don't stay, and so I don't think it's as safe. You know, like for me, going out and playing all day as a kid and my mom never having to worry about me, I can't do that with my grandchildren. Yeah. They're 9 and 8, and this will probably be the first year that I'll let them go to the park without me. As a small child, we did not have a bathtub initially. I would have to go to my grandparents next door every Saturday night for a sauna bath. So that certainly has changed. I don't remember how old I was when we did get a bathtub. I know I was, I can't remember how old, but as a child, that's how we bathed. So that certainly has changed. Now the sauna bath is out of camp, and it's more for fun, but I still really enjoy it. People were kind, generous, very friendly. You spoke to everybody. I think that's changed a little bit. As a family, we always ate our dinner together. We always sat at the table and ate together. And now I think with families being so busy, with children in all their different activities, even though my kids were in hockey and figure skating, we most days always ate together. You changed your time to eat, whereas now I don't think a lot of people even sit at their table. Maybe just special occasions they sit at the table. And so I think that part's changed. So I think the family time suffers. There's not the sharing because you don't have time. Everybody's so busy. And the parents are busy too because they also are involved in activities themselves. Lots of hobbies, but crocheting, quilting is my main hobby. I love the camaraderie, and I love learning, taking a piece of fabric and cutting it into all different pieces, not just one piece of fabric, all different, same quality fabric, but different colors, and putting it all back together. And it's very surprising what you end up with when you haven't got a clue what you're doing and you're just being guided by somebody. And quilting is my main hobby now. We have a very good quilting club here in Schreiber. We have, I can't remember exactly how many members. I would say probably 20, but it varies on how many people come. People come when they can or when they want to. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to, you're not committed totally. You can start a project and then finish the project at home. But there's always the camaraderie of coming into the room and quilting with the other ladies, which is a lot of fun. And we have a fundraiser every year in the quilting club, and it's a basket auction, and a lot of our monies goes to charities. And we just purchased a new quilting arm, which everyone's really excited about, so we'll be able to quilt our own quilts instead of sending them out to be finished. So for playtime now, we winter in Florida the last few years, so we go motorcycling in Florida, something I never thought I would ever do, let alone winter in Florida, but motorcycling. But it's a lot of fun, and it's very freeing to be, but we still wear helmets and that sort of thing for protection. And we also are street rod enthusiasts, and we have a 35 Ford, which Dan built, so we do that for fun. We used to go every year to Minneapolis to back to the 50s, but haven't the last couple. But we still belong to Superior Classics Car Club here, and we do go on little runs, just about an hour each way with the club. Superior Classics Car Club? Okay, years ago in the 80s, there was just a couple of us in Schreiber that started a club, and that went for, I can't remember how many years, probably not 10, but we did have a fairly good group, and we did put on some car shows here and also in Marathon. But then with the Superior Classics Car Club, how it got started is we had a few guys in the mill actually that started talking about drag racing and getting a club together. And so it was just a few were the core, but Dan was one of the core people to get the car club going. Yeah, and then we had some people come in from Thunder Bay too, who were very, very skeptical in the beginning, but turned out to be really good car club members. We also have raised over in our car club is in its 15th year for the drag races. We've raised well over $400,000, and all our money goes back into the community. We only keep enough to run the race for the next year. All our money is donated back into the community. I'm not totally familiar with my grandparents' farm because I was born in 52, and actually they dismantled the farm in 52. So the only recollection I have of the farm is really near Grandma and Grandpa's house, right in the backyard, close to where our garage was. There was a cement pad there for a long, long time, and I was told that that was one of the barns that Grandma did the milking in. That was, the cows would be brought there, and she would do the milking, and then they would take the cars back down. But there's lots of people that are my older siblings' ages that have lots of memories of the farm, playing in the chicken coop. I know my older brother had his, he got into a lot of trouble for being in the chicken coop and stirring all the chickens and that sort of thing. And I guess they skied a lot on Hoppa's farm. In the winter they would ski. No, the farm wasn't on Columbia Street. The farm was at the bottom of Winnipeg Street, where Althea and Ted Graham have their house today. That was where the farm was. And Grandpa owned property all the way down from Columbia, heading south to get to the farm. My mom was Vienna Hoppa McClellan, and she was born December 4th, 1915. And my Aunt Alma was Alma Hoppa, and she was born December 18th, 1917. Alma worked at the post office for over 30 years, and she also looked after my grandpa when he was elderly. He had to have one leg removed because of rheumatism, and so my Aunt Alma looked after my grandpa as well as working full-time in the post office. And my mom worked in Costas for at least 10 years. She went to work when I started high school, and she was there for at least 10 years. I'm not sure what I could say about my mom and my aunt, except they were a big force in my family growing up. My aunt wasn't just an aunt to me, she was like a second mom, and we were very blessed to have her. And they were very good, kind people. All I can remember is they loved people, they loved Schreiber, and they loved life. And they did whatever they did. They put their whole heart into it. And my aunt was very meticulous about everything, and so I learned those traits from her. Like, even if she was teaching me how to knit, which I still haven't mastered, she would make me tear things out if I made an error. And my mom was just a very happy person, a lot of fun. She had a quick wit, and could answer you back with a joke all the time. Yeah, and she was very hardworking, and she was a good cook and a good baker and a wonderful mom. And we were very, very blessed to have a mom and an aunt like we did. Well, Schreiber will always be home. I've never really left Schreiber. I've only moved up a couple of streets. When I first got married, I moved to the north side of town, lived at Walker's Lake, then Drummond Street, and have been at Park Street for 44 years. And Schreiber will always be home. Even when I go to Florida, I love it. It's nice to get away and experience a different part of life, but Schreiber will always be home. And there's still people here that were here, and the families are still here, so you still get the same feelings that you did before.